In terms of averages for the night, I should imagine he was right up there, wasn't he?
Let's see if he can find this double
Shot on the
top,
second
because
low.
that is
Dimitri
quite telling.
Zhukov.
He's 2 hits from 6 here, and he's already 12% better than his doubles percentage from last night.
Game
And we
shot on
go the
sixth
distance
low.
in the first game of the
Kieran
evening.
Sean.
Does he get any more?
And no look of disappointment as well. It's almost as if he is succumbing to the pressure of this group. It seems to have been eating him up over the last couple of nights.
And the match.
Tian
Kieran
nicks this
Sean.
one away from Dimitri, which means that Tian goes to 4 points in the table alongside Dan Reed. And the best that Zhukov can do over the next 3 matches that he plays is 6 points, and we don't think that's going to be enough.
Prize 68.
Get yourself on the board, Dan.
Yeah, it's www.dartshop.tv.
28.
If you're down in Portsmouth, there's a big exhibition coming up,
Oscar
isn't there, in
required
December?
100.
Ideal for an early Christmas present.
Indeed. Already showing exasperation here is Dan. He'll feel awful if 2 double tops are found.
Ooh.
60.
Yeah,
Daniel
Dart one, he
required
does
40.
tend to have a bit of a flyer now and again.
Maybe 2 millimeters over this double top bed would be a nice
Game shot
guide,
on the
but he doesn't
third
need
low.
one.
Dan Reed.
That's exactly what he wants.
They were
Oscar
old
required
school
57.
geezers.
This game is in the palm of Oscar's hand, and it's a very strong hand. There's one of those flyers on tops. And there's a hit.
Shot and the match.
Look how much he
Oscar
wants it.
Lukasiak.
He's done the double over Dan Reed, and now he's on 8 points alongside Jim McEwan, and he's the only person who's got a game in hand on everybody here. But Oscar Lukasiak with a 90 dead average and 4 out of 9, that's very, very useful, and he's very close to Saturday night already here this evening.
22.
Jimmy Mack
Jimmy required 40.
is coming back. Now there's a walk on track for you
Game
right
shot on
there,
the
Jim.
second low.
You
Jim
don't need
McEwan.
anything else but a little bit of Martha and the Vandellas.
Been very good from Jim.
46.
It's looking very rosy with Jim.
Game
How good
shot
was
and the
that
match.
right there?
Jim McEwan.
I'm about to tell you. But Jim McEwan now on 10 points. There is no way he's not going to qualify through this group. He's just too good. And that performance of 96.76 with 100% on the doubles tells you all you need to know. Go
Dimitri
full
required
axe mode
121.
on everybody else.
Oh, he'll want to go 8 out of 8, won't he? That's just the way he's made. Ball.
Game shot on the
Gets
first
the
low.
ball.
Dimitri Zhukov.
Beautiful finish. 12 darter.
Required
Since
40.
yesterday at around 10:05.
Game shot and
25
the match.
hours and
Dimitri
20 minutes later,
Zhukov.
it's Dimitri Zhukov who simply does have the measure of Oscar Lukasiak. In their battles for the week, it has been 3-2 to the Latvian. It may just be too late for him, but he's still hanging on by his coattails. Only just. This
You
week is
required
going.
40.
There is a possibility we might have 2 gyms in the final. It could be a battle of the 2 gyms over 50. Supposedly a young man's game.
Game
Double
shot on the
5,
fourth
hit
low.
by McEwan for
Jim
3-1.
McEwan.
And this result so far is close to ideal
Yeah,
for the chasing pack.
Jim, you require 161.
Sebastian Białecki was in fine form a week ago, mastering the art of Group C. Group B last week, well, it was all about Andy Bolton, wasn't it?
137.
He got 14
Daniel
points
required
in that group with a
170.
leg difference of plus 14. Jim McEwan looks like he's going to get more than that. He's already got a leg difference of plus 14
60.
before this game even
Jim required
started.
24.
This is how good this campaign is.
Game
That
shot
is
and the match.
magnificent.
Jim McEwan.
Another average in excess of 92 and his doubles weren't 100% this time, but they were still world class at 57%.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we are midway through our evening session here on Friday night at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. This is what we have seen so far. Well, we know the identity of Jim McEwan through to the final because a couple of 4-1 victories has sealed his path. In fact, he's the only player to have won a game tonight on throw. So those are the results so far. And as I say, Jim McEwan only needed 1 victory tonight to secure his passage into the finals, and he wasted no time in doing that whatsoever, getting the better of Kieran Tierney in his in his first game by 4 legs to 1. There we go. Pinning tops there to secure the victory. So McEwan into tomorrow night's final. We can give you some confirmation of his passage through to the finals, because this is how the league table looks halfway through proceedings here. Jim McEwan, Oscar Lukasiak are the players in the top 2 spots into tomorrow night's final. Dan Reed, Kieran Tierney on 4 points respectively. And because they play each other, neither of them can both get onto 8 points, so that secures Oscar Lukasiak's passage through. It is Tierney who we're going to see up next against Oscar down in the commentary box. Paul and Chris.
Certainly another player I'd like to see back, having experienced
Game shot on
the
the
Super
foreplay.
Series.
Oscar Lukasiak.
Yeah, I think the talent pool this year has been widened, hasn't it? Oscar's last game is against Jim McEwan. That is the hardest game of the group. Double 11. Here we go again. If you're going to miss double 11, Kieran, hit double 8.
20.
Misses 11s twice. And Lukasiak, once
Oscar,
again,
required
Such
5.
is on a small number.
There's such a big target area there. If you're feeling a little bit twitchy, just go for the wire in between the 6 and 10. It sits right in the middle.
Just above that marker.
No score.
He's had plenty of opportunities.
I think he's had a dart pretty much in every leg of the match.
Yeah,
Kieran, you
feels like
required
it.
22.
He's had 13 darts at a double to Kieran's 7. He's got every right to feel flummoxed. Well, there's the 8. Another next door neighbour shot, but it's not double 3. It's double 7.
Game shot.
A weird
and the
finish
match.
to a very
Kieran Tierney.
unusual game, as Oscar Lukasiak now is going to be sweating it. He's on 8 points, and Kieran Tierney is on 6. That's bad news for Dmitry Zhukov, and bad news for Dan Reed, because he's now outside the qualifying positions. Jim's not the kind of player who will take his foot off the pedal. We've seen him in group campaigns before, and he loves the feeling of domination.
180.
Is that his first one for the night?
Dmitry required 40.
Yep.
That's only his second
Game
of the
shot on
group.
the foreplay. Dmitry
And straight after
Zhukov.
that comes a nice clean kill for Dmitry in a 14 darter. Is now to end it.
Jimmy required 120.
He lives for this finish. Just create a better angle than that.
80.
It's just over the top. So he has to wait to see if he gets another chance. Dmitry in this game,
Dmitry
2 from
required
12 on the outer
20.
ring. So he has been a little sketchy once again. Double 5.
10.
And that was to survive. His
Jimmy
participation in
required
Group
40.
B and Week 10 could end right now.
Game
And that is
shot,
that for
and the
Latvia
match,
in Week
Jim
10 then.
McEwan.
Scotland's Jim McEwan seals his fate. He has one game left against Dan Reed in Game 10, but that's all about what Dan needs, and that will be a swan song for Dmitry. Hit tops. That would be different.
Game
And he
shot on
gets
the
it for
third
3-0.
play. Dan
So he's 3
Reed.
from 11 now, so it's not disastrous.
Got nowhere near the end of the throw, did he?
Not at all. Can Tian survive? It's got to be perfect. It's got to be green,
60.
and it never worried it.
Dan, you require 20.
He's had 6 darts at a double in the match and hasn't hit any of them. That's why he is going to be eliminated if Dan hits double 10, which he
Game,
does.
shot, and the match.
So,
Dan Reed.
Dan Reed with 6 points. He gets his first points of the Friday night session. And because of the 11 leg difference change that we have between the two players, it means that Dan Reed is safe and he does not have to beat Dmitry Zhukov in the final game of the night. So it's all done. Our qualifiers are settled, and 2 of them will play each other in the penultimate match, with Oscar up against Jim, who's looking for his own little slice of history.
Trouble 20. 17 and tops.
Listen to Mace, Jim.
In she flies.
Game, shot on the first leg. Jim McEwan.
He's been doing that for the last couple of nights. And I'm talking about Jim, not Chris. Someone want to give him that book that we got this week about which way to go for 74.
Never second guess a dart player. He's going to fill it.
174. Oscar, you
It's the old
require
Dundas
20.
call of 174. They can't be split at all in the game. Double 5.
Until now. Ooh. He has been quite good at
No
there.
score.
Oh, slams it straight
Jim,
in the
you
ball.
require 20.
In fact, before that visit, there was less than 1/10 of a point between their averages as well. Their doubles are exactly the same as it stands right now. And he
No
goes
score.
next door. It feels like every player this week has gone next door.
Oscar, you require 20.
That's
Game,
not
shot
next
on the
door.
5th leg.
That's
Oscar
a 3-2
Lukasiak.
lead. Jim McEwan wants that record here in Group B. He needs to win the last 2 legs.
Will it matter?
Double 10 to preserve his chances of record territory.
50.
That might be that, because Lukasiak on double
Oscar,
16
you require 32.
has been useful when needed here in week 10. Double 8. And
Game,
he's the only
shot,
person to
and
beat
the
Chucky
match. Oscar
in Group B.
Lukasiak.
So, record for Jim? Not so. He had a chance of being the 4th person to have a perfect campaign in Group B, but it's not meant to be, as Oscar Lukasiak wins the penultimate match of Week 10's Group B campaign by 4 legs to 2.
Game,
And
shot,
a lovely
and the
way
match. Dan
to finish
Reed.
off your campaign. And he does, as we already knew, secure his place in tomorrow night's final. And that'll give him plenty of confidence going into that final, signing off with an 11 darter and an average of 88.06 and